What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I've done my best to kind of be a voice of somewhat reason when it comes to the investigation around what happened to Charlie Kirk. But also, I acknowledge that there are a lot of questions still worth asking. And I think even if I believe some people are too fixated on, say, a foreign government being involved in, Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think all reasonable avenues, if there's any evidence of it whatsoever, are worth exploring. And this is probably only going to fuel the conspiracy flames. And I just don't think I necessarily agree with this decision. Kash Patel has decided that he will shut down all investigations into any kind of foreign intelligence in terms of Charlie Kirk's the Charlie Kirk investigation. Kash Patel shuts down Charlie Kirk foreign intelligence probe, an explosive feud with Trump's counter-terror chief. Now, this story was sent to me in our members Discord. If you haven't joined yet, please do at thequartering.com/join. You can talk directly to me, pitch stories every single day, take part. We've still got a Halloween contest going on. We've got November Thanksgiving contest, Christmas gifts stuff. It's just a great community over at thequartering.com/join, and I could really use your support. So hopefully you'll consider joining today. FBI Director Kash Patel crushed efforts by Tulsi Gabbard's closest advisor to see if any kind of foreign power was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Well, let's be very clear. What foreign power are we talking about? I assume Israel. The head of the National Counterterror Center, Joe Kent, analyzed FBI files to determine whether Kirk's alleged killer received any kind of assistance from foreign power. Now, I think that is absolutely a reasonable, that's a reasonable thing to, explore. Charlie Kirk was very influential. He was very highly likely going to be a presidential juggernaut should he have ever chosen to run. And it's possible, right, that some, foreign government may have had some interest in him. Kent's investigation alarmed Patel, who believed the counter-terror chief was overstepping by interfering with an ongoing FBI investigation, according to the New York Times. Kirk obviously was assassinated back on September 10th at Utah Valley University. Tyler Robinson was charged with the crime and now faces the death penalty if found guilty. The Times spoke with supporters of Kent, who claim he was doing his job by chasing down any leads to ensure that no foreign groups were involved in Kirk's assassination. Again, this just doesn't look good. Why not, even if you were butthurt about Kash Patel maybe, quote unquote, overstepping, if you now step in and say, well, we can't investigate foreign countries, all that's going to do is fire up all the people that believe that foreign countries were involved. So from a PR perspective, nobody around Kash Patel is telling him, well, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We really can't, I think it would look bad if we stop this now, which I agree, it does look bad. I still believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone or with the encouragement of his lover, Lance Twiggs. That's what I believe is the most likely scenario right now. But I also don't believe it's worth just, cutting off any avenues to, possibly finding any other links. After Patel discovered Kent had gone through FBI case material related to Kirk, a tense White House meeting was held to discuss the matter. A roundtable meeting between Patel, Kent, Gabbard, and J.D. Vance, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and senior DOJ officials were held at the White House. Kent told the administration officials that he was granted access to the FBI files by low-ranking agency official. Interesting. The White House meeting was so tense that little was accomplished, according to the Times. Now, this could have been just a pissing match. Hey, this is my investigation. Hey, you're not in your jurisdiction. Hey. But I admit, as someone on the outside looking in, this doesn't look great. This doesn't look, You just got to let them research it now, I think. The Trump administration officials were worried that Kent's probe into foreign interference could provide ammunition to Robinson's defense lawyers, who could then argue more than one suspect was involved in Kirk's assassination. Well, if more than one suspect was involved in it, I would want to know that. I'm not worried about helping the defense team. I'm worried about getting the people actually responsible. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of important. The FBI, and again, I still believe it was Tyler Robinson. All evidence points to Tyler Robinson getting groomed by his trans boyfriend and into doing it. That's what all evidence points to. There have been long-standing issues regarding jurisdiction between Gabbard's office and the FBI. It's not clear if the FBI or the counterterror team is still investigating whether a foreign power assisted in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The Daily Mail reached out to Kent and the FBI for comment. The FBI and intelligence community, under the direction of President Trump, will leave no stone unturned as the investigation of the assassination of our friend Charlie Kirk, said Kash Patel and Gabbard in a joint statement to the Times. So they're coming out and saying, so to be fair, they may still be, investigating any kind of foreign involvement, but it doesn't necessarily prove that, we also don't know if they are. They're saying we're leaving no stone unturned, but, we don't know. Kent was confirmed to lead the counterterror team back in July, where he has since focused on disrupting narco-terror cells and cartels. Before joining the Trump administration, Kent unsuccessfully ran for Congress in 2022 and 2024 in Washington, auctioning himself as a mega loyalist. The former CIA employee and Green Beret veteran is known for his non-interventionist foreign policy views. Well, it seems like a pretty cool guy to me. Now, if you're going to say, hey, we don't want to do any investigation on any kind of possible, foreign involvement, I think once the cat is out of the bag, you probably just let it go. You don't make a big scene, a big public spectacle about it and say that you're going to shut down any kind of foreign investigation. I think now, Kash Patel's going to have to come back out and say, yes, we are investigating if there are any foreign links. Certainly there was some talk about foreign funding to these radical LGBTQ groups from Cuba and via China, all this kind of stuff. I think that if you are going to leave no stone unturned, then this is foreign involvement is something you want to look into. While I agree, I think that most of the information points to, most of the information points pretty obviously to Tyler Robinson. That doesn't mean that it's an open and shut case. So I think it's worth doing it. Also, GOP senators are now pushing for a Charlie Kirk statue in Trump's National Garden of American Heroes. More than a dozen Republican lawmakers want slain activist Charlie Kirk included in the proposed South Dakota park near Mount Rushmore. I absolutely, positively would love that. I think that Charlie Kirk should be remembered. I think Charlie Kirk should be, larger than life. In a letter to Trump, Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican, the lawmakers requested Kirk be included in the National Guard of American Heroes, a massive project of 250 life-size statues of some of the country's most notable figures. If including Kirk would include the likes of Abraham Lincoln, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, didn't he essay somebody? No, I guess he was found guilty of that after a massive payout. That definitely didn't get her to quiet down. But, I don't know. Martin Luther King, Amelia Earhart, Albert Einstein, and several others. The inclusion of Mr. Kirk in the National Guard would not only honor his personal achievements, but will also underscore the vital role that civic engagement plays in our national heritage. The lawmakers wrote, recognizing leaders who encourage participation and dialogue ensures that the garden reflects both the historical and contemporary voices that continue to shape America. I 100% support this. I 100% support this. This is, again, I'm more interested in this stuff. Officials' access to FBI files in Charlie Kirk's case through pushback and inquiry by Joe Kent. That I'm more worried about this could be, like I said, more of a pissing match. I'm also concerned that Tyler Robinson continues to get special treatment. He will not have to appear in court wearing his prison blues or oranges or whatever. He will now get to wear civilian clothes. This says, this on ABC. We talked about this already. Charlie Kirk murder suspect can wear civilian clothes in court, but must remain restrained.
A judge ruling that
I don't think that, I don't agree with it. I understand innocent until proven guilty. I guess I understand that. But there's, again, this on the heels of judge punts on news cameras in the courtroom in Charlie Kirk murder case. Tyler Robinson will be allowed to wear street clothes, but judge orders photographers to keep his shackles out of frame. I mean, this is crazy. He doesn't even have to show his picture on the Zoom calls anymore. Again, this trial absolutely positively has to be broadcast. There's no question about it. Like the whole world has to see this trial, because we need to see, hey, is there more information here? Is maybe the case against Tyler Robinson, rock solid? And we don't, there's a lot of stuff that the FBI hasn't told us yet. That could be. There's a lot of information that the world needs to know. And I don't think shutting down investigating foreign nations is probably a good look for Kash Patel. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.